Hey, welcome back to Architects of Technical Win, the podcast built by pre-sales professionals for pre-sales professionals. Today, we are locking in for episode number 3. In our first 2 episodes, we discussed the evolution of the SE role, its importance, and its future in the AI era. We will now be shifting gears and focus on specific topics that are core to the SE function, starting with most important and tough topics, importance of executive connection. Our guest today is someone who has lived in various trenches of enterprise IT landscape with over 27 years of experience across delivery, operations, consulting, system engineering. Is director of pre-sales, Southeast Asia Nutanix, Naresh Purohit. Welcome to the show, Naresh.
Thank you, Anshuman. Thanks a lot. Excited to be part of this series. Looking forward for this discussion.
Absolutely, Naresh. Your transition from a consulting to SE director role at APJ level, how would you describe this experience?
Oh, yeah, I've never thought of that. I'll get into the pre-sales. When I was doing the consulting, it is more executions, right? We used to get the defined scope of work, boundary was limited, and you have to operate out of that boundary. I've been fortunate enough to work for critical projects where I got that sense that when I'm doing something, it is not just implementation. It is going to touch a lot of business outcome for the organizations. And this has given the trigger to me that why not to get into that where we are talking about the entire life cycle of the project, right? Started from the incubation, and then having the planning, discovery, and then entire ecosystem integration. And started working with my colleagues, and then I found silently I'm doing the pre-sales job, and a lot of my colleagues, my mentor has started pushing me that why can't you come along with for the sales call, and that I found like it's very interesting. Rather than focusing on execution, why not to get into true planning, understanding the business problems, challenges, and building the solution which is outcome driven. And that has led to me thinking process that why not to get into this where I am adding more value, I am more relevant, and it is going to give me a great credit in terms of what I'm doing, right? So that has really helped me to transition from a consulting role to SE director or SE, which is pre-sales role.
Okay, so common theme, Naresh, across all the other guests also. And personally for me as well as Shri. So we all started with a delivery background, and somewhere in the journey we realized that yeah, we can do more of customer facing stuff, and then we move to uh, pre-sales. So today's is a very topic driven discussion. So what I will want to understand that uh, that you see you are known to be maintaining great executive connections, right, Naresh?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
has that helped you in your professional journey?
yeah, Anshuman, very well. Reason being because my strong belief says, and this is one of my favorite questions for any interview which I do. Give me three industry connect, which will just call them and they will have your recall, right? So this has really helped me because of my consulting background, because I was having a great connect at the right level, because I was delivering the great projects within their organizations where it is very complicated, very, very strategic projects. So from that perspective, I was initial 10, 15 years of my career, I was able to build those connections in most of the enterprises and the government institution. That has helped me because whenever any new organization is approaching you, one is your skill, the second is your connect. It's very, very important because skill can be built. Connection building takes time. People keep saying trust, transparency makes a big connection. There is a formula for trust, and I keep sharing it with my team. So in that formula, there is one credibility. So credibility doesn't come with one interaction, two interaction, right? So my focus was always to build a great credibility between our relationship, and I was always transparent, and these all the connection which I'm having, still I'm connected with them irrespective of the business. It is more of a mentor and sometimes a sounding bank where I can just go back to them, create a situation, they give me guidance. Sometimes they also required guidance, they come back to me, and without any business interest, we carry forward that. So without connection in today's world, irrespective, I'll not say executive connect. Executive connects really helps in a long run, but wherever you are having your touch point, those relations should to be very deep. It can't be a touch relationship. That is my strong belief.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, Naresh. So let's dive in straight. Why should uh, an SE have an executive connection? And what does it really mean for an SE?
Oh, a very, very valid question, Sri. So over a period of time, all of us have has that realization that we are selling a solution to most of the time technical buyers. We are not selling our solution to the solution buyer. What I mean by that is, where is the pain? Pain is in technology spectrum. I'm pretty sure, but at the end of the day, the senior leadership in terms of CIOs, CDOs, CFOs, they are the economical buyer for that, right? So gone are those days when technical buyer is able to take the entire story end to end within their organizations and able to make the deal for us. Today, there are multiple touch points. There are at least 4 to 5 touch points to make the deal happen, right? It is entire ecosystem. Even in government institution, there is a committee, there is a jury. So from that perspective, you have to have the understanding of each touch point, and those each touch point. I'm not saying that it is SC's responsibility, but because SC is the most trusted partner in this entire eco chain. So if you're able to know that where exactly is the touch point, what are their problem areas, and how your solution can really solve their pain points, I think that makes your deal faster, you're more predictable, and then more relevant to that. Because everybody knows on the planet that customers are not going to explore only one solution. There will be multiple solutions. So if you're not able to create right discovery, you're not able to create right differentiation, and if you're not able to defend your your solution, it will be always very flaky deal predictions, and your forecast will be at risk. So from that perspective, I have a strong belief that my team, myself, or our pre-sales should be having a very clear understanding what are the different touch points, and they should define their role and responsibility, that which touch point they can really effectively manage, and it should be outcome driven conversation with those touch points. That's my thought on this.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, when we look at it, there are so many executives. There is a CFO, there is a CIO, CTO, CISO. There are so many things, right? Where should the SE focus more? Which executive level should the SE have their focus on?
So you are behaving like a typical SC for my, in my team. Whenever I ask them, they ask the same question. They're asking me to have the executive connects. I am having a great connect with CIO. Now, what else you want from me? And then I ask only one simple question. When you're not inside the boardroom, will your CIO will be your advocate and presenting your solution the way you are having a strong conviction about your solution? If it is going to happen, you don't require any further connection. But now CIO has to take it to CDO, he has to take it to CFO, CFO has to take it to the board. And there are multiple chains, right? Sometimes project LOBs heads are also, doing the same job. So as a smart SC, at the end of the day, your technology needs to have a differentiated factor and conviction that this is the solution. People, they have to understand every function. As you rightly said, there are multiple personas. Which persona I should be mapping? So there is no right answer for that, that as a SE, you should map the IT folks or you should map it to CFOs, your deal will happen. You have to understand the gravity and the pain area spectrum which they are trying to solve, and how your solution will be very differentiated to solve that pain area. If you're able to understand that, uh, then you can have those touch point which are the impacted party within that organization which they are looking for this solution. So right answer to you, if I have to confine that, which problem they are trying to solve, and in that problem who are the stakeholder for that problem within that organization, and how your solution is going to solve that problem in that organizations. All those people, impacted parties, will be your touch point in that organization. You should touch each and every touch points, build great connect, and understand their motivation to go for this solution. The moment you start doing it, I think you become a great SE.
And to add to this, Naresh, my personal experiences in addition to the execs, CFO is a very, very interesting persona to interact. So, in my couple of years at UiPath, I did get to connect with them. A very, very logical community. Uh, they may not have the best understanding of IT, but they're really brilliant at making sense of what you are talking. and they connect very well with the pre-sales community. So that's something, and we have always avoided that set of people. So my input to SEs would be that CFO, very very right persona to connect with. True. So let's go to the other side, Naresh. So SE is typically associated with product functionality, deep dive, etc. When we look at the CXO side, they're more focused on business outcome, right? Why should an exec even talk to an SE? He might just say, okay, talk to the admin, talk to the tech team. मैं तुमसे क्यों बात करूं? So, uh, what's your take on that?
So two things, Anshuman. One, uh, in entire ecosystem and entire, you can say, chain of the opportunity maturity, SC is the only trusted advisor. It's not because I'm representing them. Uh, it's my strong belief
We
that,
all are.
huh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is like people, they treat them that these guys will not have any vested interest. One, they will be very transparent, and they will understand my pain. And very very important, why CXO wants to talk to them is, which most of the SE sometimes misses, that the key importance of that discussion is that he might have interacted with same problem in somewhere. He will have a lot of learnings out of that. So I should not be a guinea pig, or the person who will be part of that entire chain of learning. He's already had the solution for that problem. Can I take advantage of that? So three things. One, he's been trusted. He is very transparent in terms of letting you know what are the pros and cons of your solution. And third, he is experienced in solving those problems in the same vertical or same industry. So I can be having the advantage of learning from him. So getting his insight of this. So these are the three things which most of the executive wants to talk to them, and their objective is to get those insights from them.
Okay, and if I add to this, uh, see, outcome is slightly an easier conversation in case of a business application, right? Because that's where it's measurable, and that's what board is asking the CIO. But when we are somebody selling an underlying infra solution or underlying any IT solution for that matter, uh, relating that with business outcome is a little tricky one. What's your take on that?
So uh, over a period of time, we have learned that art. At the end of the day, it's a platform, right? It is the heart and brain of everything which we are doing on the application layer. So application is directly related to the business outcome, but powering that by a platform, which any impact on that platform will impact the application. So application resiliency will be dependent on the platform resiliency. I'll give you some example. Let's say if you are my one of the executive connect and you're asking me, this infra is commodity, why I should consider that infra. So my first point will be, rather than telling the features and the functionalities, it helps 30% improvement on your downtime, and overall TCO for 5 years to manage it. Operational management, data operation, how much hours of management you are putting it. If you are able to manage it with 60-70% of that with fixed numbers, that gives you a confidence that I'm talking to the right stakeholders. So if you have the right tangible outcome of your infra, which is available there in terms of the downtime, the uptime, the resiliencies, and total cost of ownership, and very important, which now through this podcast probably people will learn this. The term which we have coined is the obsolescence. People, they never think about that how I'm going to handle my obsolescence. And most of the time, application obsolescence is just an upgrade. Infrastructure obsolescence creates a lot of impact in any projects, right? So if you have any technology which can reduce your obsolescence factor like 40 to 70%, you are well placed. So these are the 3 4 things which you have to very very focus in terms of numbers and referenceability with some of the same industry vertical. I think that gives you a confidence that I'm getting a real TCO of my entire solution, starting from bottoms up, infra and application.
Naresh, just wanted to check with you. So, do you have any recollection where an SE has helped secure a win because of the executive connections?
Yeah. See, many time. So in one of the case, most of the time our SEs were interacting with CIOs, and in this case, my SE came to me and he said this time the problem is with the admin. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, Are you serious? Why we have to talk to the building management system? So we said, okay, but now what is your pitch? So their pitch was their current infrastructure is drawing uh, 40% more power from their last year bill. Now they are less of a space available because of their growth. IT is doing a lot of virtualization, a lot of equipment is being put into the data centers. And in Mumbai, think about that. This is like a space is a big problem, right? So how we can optimize that? And that was the one of the key area which admin wants to solve in this financial year, and they have a budget where they want to reduce their operational cost for 5 year down the line, 60%. That was one of the KPI. So here my SC has built a great reputation with admin team and the finance team, because now technical buyer is the IT, but economical buyer is because budget was coming from your admin and from finance. They have mapped them really well. They created the entire story. So what he has said is all the competition was talking about space reduction, finance, and all this stuff. He went and said in your 2024 annual report, you mentioned that you want to reduce your carbon footprint to 30%. So I am able to have that by having our technology. We were able to reduce your carbon footprint, and people are calculating on Excel sheet. There are tools available inherently which can give you that these are the carbon footprint you will be consuming in your infrastructure. Will you be okay to explore that? So having the right connect, understanding the right pain point, and then driving this business outcome according to that pain point has built up that deal. And now think about that. IT is having three solution in their head, and I know the admin and finance is saying no, we want this solution A because we know what is the differentiated value we'll be getting in this. So that is one of the case which I want to put it across.
So now that we are talking about that, CXO engagements are important, but they don't really naturally come to SEs, right? How do you coach your SEs, or do you coach them on ad hoc basis, or do you have any structured program that you make them undergo so that they are more conversant in their conversations and all? Yeah.
So this skill doesn't come inherently into the technical folks. That's my belief. My personal. I myself has struggled with that. Initial 15 years of my career, I was core technologist working on the technology problem. Outcome was immaterial to me. I have my scope of work. I'll deliver that. I'll have my happy customer. Gradually, I've understood that at the end of the day, what is the purpose of this entire things which I'm doing? It is a small piece in the entire big, a scheme of things which I'm solving. Why can't I understand the entire puzzle first? So SCs are most of the time very centered about the problem which they are trying to solve, and they really require a good coaching, a good mentor, and good feedback mechanism to them. So in my case, if it is a seasoned SCs, we mentor them by shadowing. We take them through with some of the very methodological programs where we make them understand that how you can build the balance between the business outcome versus the technical outcome. So proper training in terms of understanding the business outcome, one. Second, building up that sales acumen is not that easy. So we latch on to some of the external program sometimes where they bring a very different approach how to build the connection, what are the key motivation for those individual personas, and how you can carry those conversation in that. Because as Anshuman was mentioning, CFO will not be talking to you about your product features, right? There he has a very 10 minutes of a span. There you have to be very relevant in terms of what you are communicating it to it. So how to have that relevance in your communication, one. And second, very important is it comes along the way. There is no a training which can fit in it. It's a continuous program. So there is one program which will help them to have the executive connect. There is a second program which will be talking about uh, your discussion should be aligned to the persona. And third is how to build that sales acumen for the SCs. And within organization, it's very tough to build that. So we leverage the external agencies where we take their help in terms of building those skills for our SCs.
And Naresh, one common belief is that SEs are more introvert by nature, right? Do you think effective coaching or training can build that capability or skill of building executive connections? And how does that help them come out of the shell?
See, Industry is having this problem, Anshuman, which I have realized after a time that within the organization, if I'm doing a coaching program, people do not open up, right? And very rarely you will find that people are extrovert and they are still doing very geeky work, very nerdy work, because nerdy work required really a very focused approach, very silently focused in terms of what you are best at.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there is I was just going through with some study which clearly says 60% of the technical folks, developers, pre-sales, technologies, specialists, they are introvert. Okay, that's a percentage. There is a personality test. I'll talk to you offline, which clearly state that this is an industry problem. So one, understanding of the problem. Second, how to navigate that. So what I believe is when you are into peer learning, very few people take peer learning very seriously. Think about if I'll say, hey, you looks very introvert. Will you be working with me to come out of this situation? Probably you might not be open. But when it comes to the external agencies, I think they are more open, and we are looking forward for that kind of a coaching for our new generation of the SEs, where they can really understand the value of this. The only problem is, in my view, curing a disease is not a problem. Identifying Identification of a disease is a problem. The moment self-realization happens, the curing happens. So in that context, I take help from sometimes independent consultants, independent agencies. In summary, my focus is first self-realization. Until unless anybody is not having the self-realization, improvement is not expected anyway. So having the self-realization, then building up a coaching program, being an internal or external, and then work with him consistently to improve and show him before and after. And then people, they really cherish that today what I was there and what after 1 year of my hard working, what I am today.
Thanks so much for that great insight, Naresh. But at the same time, what we also understand is that the CXO's time, it's very limited and scarce, right? While you did talk about a lot of CXOs, how to build the connections, how to improve on them, and all. How do you exactly coach or train your team to create this initial conversation and help them bridge that initial hiccup and get their attention of CXOs? How do you do that?
Actually, very tough question. If I was knowing it 10 years before, probably I could have been a different person. But yeah, I'll try to give whatever best I can give from my experience perspective. What is 5 nines? So everybody will say 5 nines is the availability, right? So now this is my fundamentals in life I have learned from my mentors. One, 9 second of your appearance, 9 minute of your talk, 9 days of your revert back to the opportunity or to the discussion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then 9 weeks of again touch point, because otherwise it will get fade away. If you're not able to do that, after 9 months, people will forget you. So last nine is very difficult. 4 nines are very, very important. So first is the intent. Intent is not what you are trying to do with that intent. If somebody is meeting you, value his time and what is his intent to meet. And second is the impact. So all of us are, trying to do what we'll be talking about, what will be create with what kind of impact we'll be creating. So your intent, the other person is trying to meet you. If you are clear, if you are well thought, you are practicing it, because you will be well prepared into this. So these are the 5 nines. I'll summarize my conversation. Executive Connect required 3 eyes. What kind of impact he is looking forward, what is the improvement he is looking for, and what is his intent. If you're able to understand these three from their perspective, not from your own perspective, right, this is very important. And please have 5 nines understanding, because somebody is giving you his valuable time, so please value that time.
This is a great learning for me as well. This 5 nines is something that I'm going to carry it and use it in my conversations as well. So, Naresh, what we are talking about is the preparation part and also how do we handle things post preparation, right? अब मैं आपको एक जरा स्पेसिफिक प्रॉब्लम देता हूँ, ठीक है? ये आई थिंक हम सब लोगों ने अपनी लाइफ में हैंडल किया है कभी ना कभी. So you are meeting an exec. You have prepared well. There is an agenda. You're talking. You're presenting, and something, one or two points come up, and that completely derails the conversation, right? And we are all there having some kind of an objective in mind, but ऐसा लगता है कि ये थोड़ा सा अभी यहाँ से हट रहा है. So now you are a little scared कि भाई मैं उसको ऑफेंड भी नहीं कर सकता हूँ एग्जैक्ट को, but at the same time you want to come back to the topic. uh, any suggestions for the SEs, any guidance, any inputs from you, ये इस सिचुएशन को कैसे मनोवर किया जाए? और हमने ये क्वेश्चन क्यों रखा है, बिकॉज ये बहुत प्रैक्टिकल है. दिस डज हैपन multiple times in our lives. So uh,
So I have two approaches, Anshuman. One is my favorite approach, but that required a lot of hard work, a lot of preparation. And there is a second approach, which is a very run of the mill. So let me take first second approach. Second approach is in most of the meeting, you will have a very, very biased and incumbent aligned personality.
mhm.
So that person will always create, we call them a distractor. So they will derail you. They will derail the entire conversation, and they will try to bring the conversation the way they want to bring it. So in that in that context, my way of handling this is one. Excuse me, gentlemen. Thank you very much, Anshuman. Very valid question. However, there is a subsequent answer to this problem. We considered that in my presentation. Will it be okay if I'll run through this, and then by the time you'll get the answer, if you're not able to get the answer, surely I'm going to take that answer. And respectful of that, I ensure that I answer that question. Because today, if you're not able to satisfy him, you're not going to make the way. That's an easy way of handling it. But my first way of handling is very different. If somebody is asking question, if you are well read, it's like that bullet has come from you, from the other side. Now you have to send the same level of a bullet immediately. So that next bullet, he should be thinking 10 times. So I'll give an example. One of the things we were doing the discussion, and one of the guy asked, I'm doing all the things with OpenStack. Why should even I talk about that? So here the respectful question is, you say OpenStack is really great. What is that component is really making a great, other than having the openness and the community being supported? That's it. Now you are narrowing down your spectrum of thought, right? If he says this particular, let's give an example, that particular one section is very, very good. So then immediately take that question head on. Yeah, but these are the three challenges which we have solved into this. You want more information? So now he will say, no, I'm good. Let me see your presentation. But in that situation, what you have done is that that person who was having the incumbenting thoughts, he is now getting mellowed down because he knows that this guy is well read. If I'll ask, he will have the answer. The moment you are not able to handle your first question effectively, this is my thought. Your first question, anybody in your discussion is putting it across, you should always answer this. That's the reason I said. But that answer should be very confined, very, targeted. If you're not able to do that, then you're gone.
Yeah, agree. And sometimes what happens is people think that you're crossing the line when you question. I think that's where the skill is. How do you ask the question without crossing the line? So yeah, but yes, it's effective and brings back to the same point with the answer to the first question, that is preparation. And here it is more about your knowledge, more about your knowledge of the competition subject, etc. So yeah, nothing, no replacement to that. Super.
I am still going through your five nines. This is absolutely new to me. Just wanted to dwell a little bit more on that. So usually the teams are very good in having and maintaining connections when there is an active opportunity or a deal that is going on. But when the opportunity is not there on the table, how do you coach your team to manage these executive connections for a later point in time? So this is going back to the same five nines that you were talking about. That's going on in my mind. I thought I should ask you this.
No, again, a good question. It's very hard because you're always busy with your day-to-day task. You have a quota pressure, you have number pressure, you have to learn new technologies. So time is a very big essence, right? And as Anshuman was alluding to, these executives will not be meeting you. Okay, I don't have anything, but come and we'll have a coffee. Nobody is going to give you that opportunity, right? So in that context, sometimes just checking back with our existing customers, how the things are shaping it up, right? And taking their time, there are new things which is coming up. I'll give an example today. If I have to take a time from any executive, uh, you know, then my two pointer uh, request to him is that there are a lot of things which is happening into the vertical, which is again intent. You might be doing a lot of things on AI. If you gave us a 20 minutes, we have a great curated presentation which I personally will come and will run, and we'll understand where exactly we can connect. Even though if you don't have anything, no problem, but at least you'll have a fair idea what industry and your peers are doing it. And it is not like today or tomorrow. So touch, I say touch points. So you should have your touch points being defined periodically as per your relationship, which is very very important. You should have your touch point, and on those touch point you should not be just talking about your interest where you are coming from. It One of the discussion went like, we are coming here, we just want to see how things are shaping up, we'll be just having 10 minutes of time. He said, today I don't have a time, you come on this particular time. We got the time. The discussion started that on carbon footprint, a favorite topic of mine. He said, "Boss, this is the biggest problem I am trying to solve. For that I am trying to do everything on cloud, because then I don't have to worry about that." And when I've shown him the study and my team was showing him the study, that is still your prerogative to control. It is not the prerogative of a hyperscaler to control that. He said, can we have more conversation? So that 10 minutes meeting has become like a 45 minutes.
And you spoke about touch point. Maybe if I can add, so LinkedIn, events, emails. I think there's so many places, so many opportunities for the SE to connect. And I think the important thing is naturally it should come to the person that yes, I have to maintain this. I have built this relationship, and now I have to maintain even if there is no opportunity. Account QBRs are a great opportunity for the technical team to build relationship.
So, Naresh, AI is now getting into our professional lives day in day out. We are using that. In fact, you are yourself a proponent of that. But at the same time, the relationships that we are talking about have a lot of human element to it, right? So how does this AI take this entire game? I mean, how does AI help in building these executive connections for the team for their future prospects?
Shri, AI is an enabler, right? And human quotient can't be built with AI. That's my strong belief. So today, uh, if I'm meeting a, a person, AI can help me to build a great summary about that person, liking, disliking, his entire life, professional life cycle, so that I'll be better prepared. But when I'm going in front of a person, there will be a lot of interpersonal things which person will be exhibiting. So the experience comes into the play for sure. So AI can be an enabler in terms of preparing well. And I'll give an example. If we are having a meeting with any of the acquisition customer, you don't know about that person, but you know his designation. AI can help you to prepare that uh, talking point, which I said, what will be his intent to meet. So today, these are the three challenges which this organization is grappling with, or these are the three initiatives they want to drive. Now, I don't have to spend long hours in terms of getting it, or a lot of people interviews. AI can give me in 2 minutes, right? So AI is enabling me. If Anshuman is one of the bank ED, or let's say ITITS VP IT. So he has these three priority because that organization has already mentioned that in their annual report. So I know they will be building up some digital factory. They will be doing modernization. They have to reduce their cloud costs. So these are their priorities. So that has enabled me. So now I understand if I'm meeting Anshuman, these will be three intent of Anshuman to meet me. Now, how we can create that impact? That again my AI can help you, right? That if you want to reduce these three things, what are the technology, where is exactly your solution can fit in. Now, third piece, which is very, very important, is the improvement. Again, AI can help you. So you have all the enablement in front of you. But when I landed in front of Anshuman, how to connect with Anshuman, AI can't tell it to me, right? Think about that. If I talk to Anshuman, in a AI language, good morning, Anshuman. I am Naresh Purohit. I am leading this. These are the three areas. It's a robotic way of conversation. He will get immediately switched off. In the same way, if I'm putting the human quotient into this, Anshuman, it's good to see you in last ETCIO event where you were talking about AI. It was very interesting conversation. I also learned these 5 nines context which you were talking about there. I am following you from last 3-4 events, and we got connected in your last organizations. I know today a lot of organizations are having these three challenges. Do you resonate with that? What will be his answers? Because first I was able to connect that I am not here just to say hi to him. I was well read. I was knowing it what exactly his area of interest is. His focus area is in AI, and now I put it across. And by the way, Anshuman, both of us are from same institute. Only thing is you are from a 97 batch. I was like 80 batch. So I'm your junior. Good to see you here. The entire perspective will change. I'm just giving an example, right? It's a very easy example which I'm saying. So this human quotient AI can't tell you. So that built over a period of time. So AI is unable. In my answer to your question, in my thought process, AI can help you to prepare for that meeting, but landing is in your hand. And for the message, you required skill, you required experience, you required a lot of personality understanding that what kind of a personality he is having. And now one word which I learned in this podcast is the you have to build your likability, which AI can't help you.
Yep.
So when I'm talking to both of you, I'm curating my messages to keeping in my mind the audience who will be listening to this, what will resonate with them, rather than being my own personality landing that message, right? So the likability of the person who will be listening or you will be interacting to build those connections is very, very important.
Great. So, Naresh, we spoke about so many things about executive connections. We spoke about tools. We spoke about intent. We spoke about AI. We spoke about preparation. Now, if you were to advise to any SE who want to master their relationship building skill, uh, short line, what would that be? Somebody says ki, okay, I love this conversation and now I want to get started. I want to focus on this for the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. What would be your advice to him?
See, my first advice is go through with the professional courses for sure. That's the only way. Don't do that mistake, which especially I admit I have done it. I've learned it in a very hard way by spending years or years of a time. There are good books, there are good mentors, there are good organizations. They can shorten this entire path. Have the preparation plan for yourself, what exactly you want to achieve in which duration. Build the plan that what skills you want to acquire, and then have the check mark. It's not the touch point needs to be built only for executive connect. Touch point needs to be built for your own progression or on your professional growth. That after 6 months of that engagement, what I was and what I am today, is there is an improvement or not, and what kind of skills I have built it up. And then fourth thing is very, very important is check with the peers. What I mean by that is if I'm going with Anshuman in a meeting or with Shri, tell them that these are the 3 points I want you to evaluate me and give me a feedback.
Mhm.
So that then you are getting on the fly, because your mentor will not be observing you at that time. So your team will give you your delivery has improved, your storytelling has improved. Somewhere you are able to be very, very focused. I was surprised to know that how come that 30% improvement in downtime. You are using a lot of numbers, tangible numbers, and you are able to confine your question to the closed loop questions, open loop question. Your discovery questions has improved. So these are the four things which I will suggest people they should.
Naresh, it is always a pleasure talking to you and having the candid conversation. And you brought in a lot of good insights. So, thank you so much for taking your time and spending with us. We are sure our viewers will also enjoy this conversation and take. There are a lot of takeaway for them as well to implement in their own professional career. And this is heartfelt thanks for spending time with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anshuman, and thanks, Sri. I really enjoyed. Uh, it has put me into my memory lane. But if it can help our, the next generation of the SCs, allowed to do this again and again. Thank you very much for your initiatives, and thanks for building it up next generation pre-sales community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks,
And
Naresh. And to our viewers, we hope you are all enjoying what we are bringing to you. We're eager to hear your feedback so that the podcast remains relevant as well as valuable. Now we are signing off and look forward to seeing you with another leader, another episode, and another topic. So stay tuned and bye bye.
Thank you very much.